So our second article will be presented by Dhruv Grewal of Babson College and Jens Nordfält from the Stockholm School of Economics. They're going to talk about their team's investigation into in-store mobile phone use and how it affects customer shopping. So thank you, Dhruv and Jens, for sharing your paper today with us.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dhruv Grewal. I'm at Babson. This is a joint project with Carl Philipp from Stockholm School of Economics, Lauren Beitelspacher from Babson, Stephanie Noble from Tennessee, and Jens Nordfält from Stockholm School of Economics. So what we are studying in this particular project is a simple issue. When you go into a store today, you can frequently see customers using their mobile phone to listen to music, check their shopping lists, check prices at other stores, post something on Facebook, etc. And that's a pretty common process. And cell phones are pretty much, and smartphones are pretty widespread. So the fundamental issue that we researched was, after chatting with a number of retailers, the concerns were, do these smartphones allow consumers to actively showroom? That means they check out the merchandise in a given store but buy it on the web, and that would explain how fantastic Amazon is doing these days, is because more and more people are gravitating to the web for their actual shopping. So mobile phones would reduce the actual shopping in the store. Or alternatively, there's work that would suggest that when consumers are distracted, what would happen? And we know work and all the laws of driving and using mobile phones suggest that people, when they use mobile phones, they are distracted. And we know distracted people, if you watch them in a store, they tend to wander a little bit further. They stop here and chat on their phone and look at something. They spend more time in the store. All of that sort of leads to the suggestion that distracted consumers, as a function of using these mobile phones, might shop more. And so that's our fundamental question that we were interested in addressing. To do this, we developed some formal predictions, which basically say, if a consumer uses a mobile phone while shopping, they're likely to spend more time in the store. They're likely to pay more attention to items. And the reason is, visualize yourself holding your phone and chatting with somebody. While you are chatting, your eyes are still looking at things. So even consciously or subconsciously, you're paying more attention to items in the store, prices in the store, special displays, etc. And finally, these folks are more likely to what we call customer loop diversion, which means they deviate from the standard shopping path in the store, which would be the basic periphery, and they move in and out, suddenly remember they need to go back a little bit. So those sort of deviations, and all of these three behavioral sort of measures will result in them buying more items and spending more, both in dollars and buying more items. So this particular study that we conducted it where, in a sense, like our prior paper that was just presented, all the consumers in the study were equipped with a mobile eye tracking device. So like you can see on the slide, that could be a picture of a shopper wearing the mobile eye tracking device, and this device records everything that they see. So the particular data that we are dealing with has about 294 shoppers who were actually, they were intercepted when they walked into the store. They were given a little pre-shopping questionnaire. They agreed to wear these mobile eye tracking devices when they went about doing their shopping as they normally would. They ended up paying for their goods, and at the end they provided us the device back as well as their shopping receipts, and also provided some follow-up, a few questions. And these were done in 4 grocery stores. We picked grocery stores as the context, and 3 were from one chain, and one was from a second chain. So this is just an example of a little video that kind of gives you a sense of what one person is doing. You can see this person is checking out every cantaloupe and figuring out which one is the best. You can see they have their phone with them. They're going and checking out that's probably looking at their shopping list and going from one item to another. In the next video, this is somebody more near the dairy area. They're probably getting a phone coming in, and they've decided to not take it, and now they're checking out the meats, and you can see where their eyes are fixating on the prices, the particular items, which ones they are looking at. All of this sort of information is what we get access to and analyze. So as a function of this, we can see we've tried to provide the information very clearly. The green bars represent the folks who were using a mobile phone while they were shopping for some duration during that trip, and the ones who don't use a mobile phone is the yellow bar. So the amount they spent, since this was done in Sweden, these are in Swedish currency, that lift in sales is almost 41%, which is a significant lift in actual spending. They spend more time, as you can see, from 12 minutes to about 17 minutes, which is almost another 50% time. They fixate. By fixate is how we can figure out through the eye tracking device data what products and prices that they are paying attention to. And the loop diversion is the deviation in their shopping. They turn around. So as you turn around, you're more likely to go and check out merchandise again and probably buy it. And going back a slide or two to our basic model, all these pathways were supported. And we also do what's called mediation analysis, and it demonstrates that, yes, the effects of mobile phone on sales is indeed influenced through spending more time, is indeed influenced by looking at more items on the shelf, and indeed by backtracking and deviating in their shopping path. So the first study provided us some good insight, but the concern that you might have is we couldn't quite necessarily say that mobile phone causes more sales because people used it versus didn't use it. So in the second study, what we did is we same procedures, intercepted people, asked them to participate, but they were primed. Would you use not use your phone, and that became one group, or you can use your phone while you are shopping, and that was the other group. So they were in one group or the other. Again, very similar results were seen. I'm not going to put up the bar charts, but just to get in the paper, the sales lift for the mobile phone use was also about 40%. So again, we got the same sort of results. In this study, in the follow-up survey at the end, we also asked them to fill out some questions to indicate did they feel more distracted during their shopping trip. And we find those who use the mobile phone do indeed report greater distraction, which in turn seems to affect the time they spend, the shelf items they look at, and the loop diversion. And ultimately, most important, sales. The second thing that we also wanted to test in this study was would people who are older be more influenced, because we know from a lot of the findings in the literature, age affects technology adoption, and younger folks are more savvy with the smartphones and are more likely to be doing multitasking, and that multitasking is not affecting their efficiencies. And indeed, our results, as you can see from the chart, the green path is where the effect of mobile on increasing distraction is significant. So from about people from who are about 32 years and older, the difference between mobile use and not use in creating more distraction was significant. Less than 32, it was not significant. The next thing that we did is we looked at certain other boundary conditions, and we focused on where were people looking at their mobile phone. And we find that, for example, when people are using their mobile phone in the areas of where there are fruits and vegetables, that means the fresh produce, they tend to be more distracted, and naturally then that distraction affects their sales. Second area of interest was at the checkout counter. Here actually mobile phone usage actually reduces sales. So if you are at the checkout and you pull out your mobile phone to talk to somebody, do something, you are, because you're standing at the same point, you're not moving extra areas, you're not necessarily deviating, you've seen the items, you're not necessarily seeing new items, it actually results in less sales. We also try to look at, for the limited sample that we had in the mobile condition, we could try and see what they were doing on their phone, and we could see whether they were doing something that was shopping related or non-shopping related, like talking or texting or posting on Facebook, etc. So when you were doing non-shopping related activities, they ended up reporting being more distracted on our surveys. So those gives us some insight into boundary conditions of this mobile effect. What are the implications of this study is retailers should actively, like a Starbucks, encourage people to use their mobile phones by providing Wi-Fi areas, providing places where they can take a selfie, accessing the QR codes or merchandise and learning more about merchandise, providing a place where you can attach your mobile phone on the shopping cart, and thus you are again more likely to use these mobile phones. So what are our key takeaways? I would like to hit these key takeaways before we open up for general questions. One is our study is limited to the grocery store at this stage, and so the use of mobile phone in the grocery shopping enhances shopping expenditure. Why does it affect shopping expenditure? It enhances this people being distracted, which in turn means they spend more time in the store, they look at more items and prices, and they move back and forth in their pathways. Third, the effects are more pronounced as people's age goes up. So there would be some public policy concerns here about uh, whether older people, if they're distracted, are they getting the best products? Are they really reading the appropriate information, etc.? There are a number of issues that should be pursued. Fourth, the mobile effect is more pronounced in the vegetable and fruit area, which is a very interesting area because these are the areas that it would be good. People ate more vegetables and fruit, that's probably they're eating more healthy. Second is these are perishables. You do want the products to move quickly and get quicker turnover on the products. And third is they many times can be higher margin. They tend to be the mobile effect tends to be less in the checkout area. And finally, a lot of our study, both our studies were done with use of mobile eye tracking devices. And I mean, what we have analyzed and shared is only a small fraction of the insights that can be gleaned from this hundreds of hours of data that video data that we have, and knowing exactly what the eye is looking at and as the person goes throughout his or her shopping trip.